And welcome to episode 5 or maybe episode 4 of Beast Bites. And today my very special guest is a homeboy, my homeboy for the last over 45 years, Blade, MC Blade. Welcome and thanks you so much for coming,
Thanks
brother.
for having me on here, man.
Nah, man, it's an honour. It's an honour, brother. You're a legend, a pioneer of the game. You know, when we talk about hip-hop, UK hip-hop, you're up there, mate. You're definitely up there. You should be inducted into the Hall of Fame because your contribution has been massive.
Thank you, man. It means a lot coming from you, bro.
Nah, man. I see your journey, brother. I see your journey, and I see the way you struggled and the way you pushed and kept on pushing, and your persistence really it's admirable, mate. It's like, you would never take no for an answer. You always go the extra mile, and your contribution to UK hip hop is undoubtable. You're a pioneer. Same way I look at you is like people like KRS and Big Daddy. You were there, mate, back in the day when I was buying these albums. You was just, refining your craft, and I see the way that you were really pushing for it. And I used to look at you, and it would be, I grudgingly admire you, mate. It's like you weren't down with a lot of the criminals that I was hanging around with, but you were on the boundary, on the edges of it, But it was true, like hip hop culture. You are one of the most, like, if I said UK hip hop culture, you are personified with that, because you took it all the way. I mean, I used to see you up Covent Garden at the weekends when I was up there busking, but just breakdancing for a bit of McDonald's money. I'd see you up there and you'd be rapping and you'd be doing your thing and you'd be with certain graffiti artists and that, So I see your journey, mate, and I'm proud to say you're a friend of mine,
Likewise.
That elevated the UK hip hop. I mean, I fell in love with, I suppose, hip hop or rap when I first heard Rapper's Delight. I think that's the first time I really heard, and I was trying to remember the lyrics, and I remember I did know a few verses, not the whole lot, but it changed my life. Rapper's Delight, 1979.
I'm not sure if I heard it in 79 or 80. I keep saying 79 because I know that's when the release date was.
Yeah.
But it's so difficult to pinpoint a time because when we were listening to those things back in the days, we weren't putting dates and timelines to it,
No.
So it's difficult. So even, for example, when I say I was in Covent Garden in 1982, like, some people are going, no, it was 83. And I'm not even arguing that because they could be right.
Yeah.
Because we don't remember. But I remember I was there for at least 2.5 years before I left. And then I came and hung around Woolwich, which is where, I got to know you guys better.
Woolwich Mafia.
But there you go.
I mean, we've had a few mafias in Woolwich, but this was the main Woolwich Mafia back in the day.
Can I just say something, like, just to put some perspective into? So I've done a lot of interviews with a lot of people that I'm going to say claim they know my story. And they know it from a distance. So they may know my story from the distance from what's been put out there. But you were there on the streets. You were watching what we were doing. So this is, I feel, the first time I am doing an interview with someone who watched the actual journey from the beginning. And I think that's an important thing to say here. You were there. You watched it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were great times for me personally. From 79 up until about 85. I'd say about 85. So a good 5 years, 5-6 years that hip hop really had a big hold of me. Whether it was the break dancing, the body popping. For me personally, we was always Spectraforce, my crew. We were always battling with some great guys from Woolwich. There were some great guys.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that club?
Tramshed.
Tramshed. I remember that one.
We used to do. The Tramshed used to be like on a Monday night, and it was half a nightclub, half a community centre for all the kids in Woolwich. And we'd come down to the tram shed and we'd watch, like, they had a big video screen, like cinema screen, with the latest pop music. So you'd see a bit of Madonna, you'd see the Rocksteady Crew, you'd see, some Shaka Khan, so, and there was loads of breakdancing movies and Beat Street and stuff like that. So we were really heavily influenced. I mean, Run DMC for me were gods almost. 100%. They were gods, and the way that Adidas, that just did it even more for me because I'm a huge Adidas fan. But yeah, the 80s, it was a great time to be alive. It was similar to the acid house, the movement. You got all these kids running around walking around with Lilo fucking. And the ghetto blasters and just rocking up anywhere, throwing the lino down and just fucking spinning on their heads.
Do you know Shooters Hill Road?
Yeah.
So the school I went to was just around the corner from there.
On Blackheath.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was on St. German's Place, and just as you come out of the school and you turn right, about 40 meters is Shooters Hill Road. Or about 60 meters, 70 meters is Shooters Hill Road. But anyway, St. German's Place. And what we used to do, we had lino, and the main road that leads to Greenwich or Charlton or wherever, it's got 2 lanes going each way. So 4 lanes altogether. Yeah. And there's a petrol station.
Oh, you talking about the down by the Sunny Sands? The Sunny Sands used to be on the roundabout.
Yeah, but near the school.
Blackheath Blue Coat School.
No, but this end where my school was.
Right? Oh, yeah.
So we used to cross the road to go to the petrol station.
King Charles Way or something? Prince Charles Road or something like that.
I think that
it's on Blackheath. On Blackheath.
Yeah, right. So we used to basically wait by the traffic lights, and as soon as the traffic light turns red, roll out the line and start head spinning.
What, knocking on the windows like we?
No, we weren't.
You weren't trying to get no money.
No, we weren't trying to. We just wanted.
You're just showing off.
Yeah, but the thing is, as kids, this is what I find funny now when I think back to it. We're like, there's all these like cars parked and whatever, and they're gonna see us and whatever.
Yeah.
Now, as we're older,
a bit of fame.
Right.
Trying to get a little bit of fame.
Now we're older. We're realizing the only people that could see us was the first 2 cars.
So no one really getting the good show.
No.
But so let's just go back a little bit. Okay. How did you even? Because you're Iranian, right?
I'm Armenian.
You're Armenian. I'm sorry, my
born
bad.
In Iran.
You was born in Iran, but you're Armenian. Now, how did your journey from Iran to the UK? How did that come about?
Okay, so basically, I have 4 brothers, or I had 4 brothers and 2 sisters. So there was 7 of us all together, and obviously our parents, and we had a big extended family with cousins, nephews, uncles, nieces, aunties, all that kind of stuff. Massive family. But what happened is, for some reason, my parents, or my dad in particular, I don't know whose decision it was, but I think it was my dad, because he was a civil engineer. He used to be responsible for building majority of the roads, tunnels, bridges and stuff in Iran. So he was very well off. And, but for some reason he sent us, me and the next 2 brothers that were older than me. So the 2 oldest brothers were already past their teenage years and everything. So they didn't need to go to school, but I was 3 years old. And my other brother was like a few years older than me, maybe 3-4 years older than me. I don't know exactly. And then the other brother was a couple of years older. So we were sent to India, Calcutta, to study. So there was a lot of things that, I picked up when I was in Calcutta. So one story I remember, and this to me was an important story because I think when I think about it logically and in hindsight, it kind of made me into the person that I am, the person that never gave up. And I remember they had a swimming pool in the school. And I remember my brother throwing me in the deep end.
Wow.
And I was young.
What, as a joke?
No, not as a joke.
What?
Like swim.
Just throw
swim.
you in. So you had to.
So, and
you had to get to
I
the.
had to get
you had to, or you're going to drown.
Right. So it was that never giving up. It was like I had to doggy paddle. Yeah. And it felt like forever.
Yeah.
You know, and
I've been there. I had the similar thing, mate. Swear down.
So I think we have a lot of similarities, a lot of things
definitely
in common.
we
but
do,
we'll
mate.
talk about all of that as we go on, because we didn't realize this until we got to know each other more conversations and stuff. So you know, because when you're on the street, yo, what's up? What's up? And
exactly.
You don't ask people about their business and stuff. So yeah, that doggy paddle at
saved
the time,
your life.
Well, it wasn't that it saved my life, but it taught me that, yo, as bad as things may seem, like, you just can't give up.
Yeah.
You got that wall at the end. There's the swimming pool and there's that wall to safety.
Yeah.
And you want to get to that wall. And, you know, it might have only been 5 meters, but it felt like 1,000 meters to me. I'm paddling.
How old were you?
3.5.
Wow.
And it was early when I got to the school, and then I just kind of thought, and then it was exciting. You know, like when you throw a child down a set of stairs by accident and they go, do it again. That's what I was like. Do it again. I want to go again. You know? And I learned, like, from that, I learned the morals of, like, yo, just don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Never give up. Yeah. Always fight.
That was the moment when, even as a young child, like, you know, it stuck in my head forever. And I think that was the moment when I literally learned to never give up.
So what happened from India? How did you get to the UK from India?
So we were in the boarding school. We were there for about 3 years, 3.5 years. And then I don't know what changed. Another thing I remember while I was in that school is, and I don't actually remember this, but then when my brother told me it a few years ago, that's when I remembered. And it was my parents came to India with us to drop us off to the school. And again, I was only 3.5, right? And they then got back in the cab to go to the airport. So they literally came to drop us off and then go. And my brother was like, you ran after that taxi. You just ran after that taxi, and you were like, and
well, you're still a baby, mate.
Yeah,
you're still a baby at 3.
Yeah,
you're not. You're an infant, and you really. It's. They say the first 5 years of your life are the most informative parts of your life. You know, when you should be with your parents and taught certain things. So, anytime you're taken away from your parents at a young age, and it happened to me. I was 2 years of age when I went into my first foster home, and I didn't have a clue. You know, and all I did was cry all night for my mum because I didn't even realise what the fuck I was doing there. So, for you at 3, chasing the cab with your parents going in, that's totally understandable because, you know, you're supposed to be with your parents at that age. It's hard to be sent away at that age and realise what is going on. You know, I mean, even though you got older siblings with you. You really want to be with your mum. That's how I see.
Well, I've never had that luxury.
You know? Yeah, that's the creature comforts that you want. Yeah. You want that love, and I didn't get that. You missed out on that, and I think things like that make you a bit of a harder person emotionally. You know, they make you a little bit harder than than most people because. It's like that hardship and that rejection. It feels like you've been rejected and you've been pushed away, and
that's entirely what I felt like all my life.
Yeah, the rejection. It is. It's hard. It's when you're coming from that kind of, you're sent away, and it's the parents most probably at the time think it's for your own good, but it is very damaging emotionally to a young child to go through that. I think, there's a lot of people that have scars on it, and I've got some scars, but my biggest scars are across my heart. They're the emotional scars. They're the scars that you don't see, and
they're the ones that never go away.
Exactly, and some people think, oh, he's just got a bad attitude, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. But yeah, when you're rejected at a young age, and you're tested with real hardship, emotional, not so much physical hardship, it's more emotional hardship. It does things to you, mate. It makes you a different person. It molds you into someone that's some people can say, "Oh, you're really cold. You haven't got a lot of." It's not that you ain't got the empathy. It's just you you just learnt from a young age. All you got in this world is yourself, really. That's all you can do is, like you said, is keep fighting yourself. You know, you I mean, having siblings, you got some people that might fight your battles, but
I never felt like my siblings did that for me. I always felt like this was just me.
Yeah.
But one thing, first of all, I just wanted to kind of add another sentence to what we were saying. But that moment when I was chasing the taxi, and I couldn't reach it. Obviously, I was little, and I didn't realize at that point that was pretty much the beginning of the end for me for family life. That was it. Yeah. And I've got some lyrics. You said about 5 years. I said in one of my lyrics that I wrote a couple of years ago, where I said the next 5 years I took time out to be a dad to my son, because that's what life is about. Because I didn't have that, so I wanted to make sure that when my son was born, so
exactly.
as much as my music was doing well, I was touring everywhere. I decided, you know what, stop it all. Yeah, I'd be there for my son.
Yeah,
and that's what
because
it was.
Because you understand the pain.
Yeah,
you understand the pain of what it's like to not have the role models, the father figures, the mother in your life, and it is very painful, mate.
Are you trying to say I'm his mother?
just to be absent, to have that absent, that love that's absent from your life, whether it's your mother or your father, they're both very important. But I think at that age, you should, the mother's love is what you need more. I think at that age, and I mean, I never had a dad. Never, my dad. Father to fucking 10 children, 4 different baby mothers. This is, I'm not saying it's the fucking average Jamaican, but a lot of Jamaican men, they're great at making the children. They get 10 out of 10 for the fucking making them, but for the raising them, they get a 5 out of 10, on the whole. But, yeah. Sorry about that, mate. I just got a bit carried away there.
No,
because it's like that that rejection and that not having the male and the female parents in your life is really, really hard. Whether it's 5 months, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, to start at an early age. It really does. It does affect you, and you never want that for you when you become a father or a mother. If you've been through that pain of care, you really don't want that child to feel the pain that you felt as a child. So you do everything you can. If you're really, you got that good heart, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do to make sure that child don't feel the pain that you did.
You said something earlier about how it makes you a cold person because of the rejection that you face. See, you know me well enough to know that I don't think like everybody else. My thought process is always like, whatever box you're in is not the box I want to be in. Yeah, so I'll think very different to everybody else. Hence the reason why everybody was looking for record deals. I was on the street selling the records. I was doing whatever. You saw that all when you were up and coming. Same with me, and obviously you did your thing with MMA fighting and whatever, with the cage fighting, and obviously maximum respect to you for everything that you've done there as well. It's like, again, just like you, I'm proud to have you as a friend. You know what I mean? So
been fighting was nothing. When you're like and you go through the care system and you're fighting all the time.
Yeah. We just chose to fight very different battles.
Yeah.
You took it in the ring, I took it on the street.
Sometimes you get a bit good at it when you're doing it as often as
And then why not get paid from it?
Exactly.
Why not try and turn it into a
fucking
career?
going to jail for it, for nothing, for violence, fucking wait.
See,
might as well get paid for it. I thought, when I come home and I see Lee fighting, I thought, fuck it, it's almost a street fight, and you're getting paid for it. And it's not saying that I'm, you know,
and I was there that
times before.
Obviously, I was there at a couple of these events as well. So, and we were in the gym that time as well when we took the photos for the magazine.
Yeah.
So I should find that photos.
No, mate. You was in it. You was there from the beginning as well. You know, on the side, like you weren't actually involved in it, but you was there with the entertainment side of it. You know, and the spectacle side of the promotion of Cage Rage.
Yeah. I mean, they used my track for the thing, innit? I wrote some specific lyrics for you and Lee.
Yeah, you must still be on royalties off of that, mate.
I've never seen a penny off of that. But that
Dave
was
O'Donnell.
what it was.
Dave O'Donnell, two dodgy fellas, mate. Dave O'Donnell.
But
Andy
you know what?
Gear.
That's not what we did it for. As soon as they said, "Yo, write some lyrics for Mark and Lee," I'm like, I'm there. You know, that was what it was. But you know what I wanted to say about this cold thing. You know what? The reason why I said about the boxes and putting myself into a different box to everybody else is basically because it didn't make me a colder person. It made me more empathetic. And every time, and this became a mistake in my life because I helped a lot of people that basically took advantage. Yeah, they didn't deserve it, and they took advantage of my generosity.
But that's because you was more empathetic.
Yeah, so I went the other way.
We are caring people, but I'm not saying we're cold and we don't have them feelings. It's just you're a little bit. It takes a lot longer for you to let your barriers down. You know, there's trust issues.
Oh, 100%, always.
There's trust issues.
But sometimes those trust issues are caused by you basically wanting to not be rejected. So you go out and you go above and beyond to try and be nice to somebody, not realizing that you're dealing with a bunch of pricks that just want to see your downfall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll say that happily. There's a bunch of pricks that want to see your downfall.
Haters.
You know, it's not even haters. It's not
no,
even,
but
you know, because they got nothing to hate.
It happens. No, but they see people doing not doing better necessarily. It's not doing better. It's just see people that are coming out of their comfort zone and trying something new. Yeah, and they're trying while you're sitting there, you know, judging. You're just judging. That's all you're doing. You're not trying, but you got an opinion, and you know, and you wanna either ridicule the person or demonize them, but you're not trying. Either way, you're not coming out of your comfort zone and trying to do something new, trying to do something that could benefit you, benefit your family. They just got an opinion. They're just judging, which is very easy to do.
It's mad that while you're talking to me about all these things, do you know what I see? See the design on these walls?
Yeah.
They feel like they're coming in at me. I don't know what, you know when you see that spiraling thing? That's what I'm seeing. So if I keep looking that way, because I'm looking at some white background.
I'm just got your background there, and it's not spiraling for me, but it is it's something that we need to sort out
I can see it's
the decor.
So guys, if I'm looking that way, it's because there's a white wall and I need more sanity.
Before he goes insane.
But yeah, I mean, look, I try to use the rejection as a means to learn from and to eventually get to a place. I mean, look, my mission in life, I feel everyone is on this earth for a reason. And like sometimes you don't know what your reason is, you know, until
I believe that
it presents itself to you. Not that you go looking for it, it presents itself to you.
Right.
And for so many years, I've always felt like the one constant in my life was that if I have a bar of chocolate when I'm 8 years old and I see someone else is hungry, I'll give them that bar of chocolate. Okay, you have it. And I'll put that person before me. And I've spent my entire life doing that. So I feel like my mission has always been to try and, because it's always been to try and help people. And the reason why I say that is, and I don't mean to be patronizing when I say this, but I see a lot of people that are very talented, right? And I've seen this throughout my life, but they just don't know the business side of things. And they don't know how to present themselves, how to push themselves, how to. So, you know, what's the point in me learning all these things that I learned? Yeah, I picked up. By the time I was 15, I could already see the music industry was corrupt.
Yeah.
Right? So what is the point of me learning all this stuff and then not being able to present it to other people and then if they take it on board,
them
it's
that
their thing.
knowledge.
Yeah, but if you know, some people just go, I'll do it my way. You're an old man. What do you know? You know, and then
Well,
I'm trying to save you 20 years.
You've got the experience, mate. That's what you know. Experience can't be. You can't put a price on experience.
But you see, the problem is like, and we're diverting the conversation a little bit. But the problem is because times have changed and times are different. People think the same rules don't apply. But the way I see it is in business, the same rules always apply. Yeah, it's just, you know, how do you then add the other things that can benefit you and whatever and use it? Like, you know, there's so many things I can say about, like, you know, social media, YouTube, everything.
How to use them as
not even how to use them, how to walk away from them.
Oh, right.
Yeah, walk away from them because them things are not good for you. They're not looking out for you.
You're right. You're right. Too much. Definitely. Too
how
much
to
social
walk away
media.
from them.
It's very time consuming. It takes a lot of your time up, and you know, and it's just like it's the same thing again. It's influencing people. It's
but where are all these influences coming from, bro? Like, you know, these are people, like, put it this way, your mom and dad can tell you something and you won't listen. But then you'll go and listen to Michael Dickinson on YouTube, who runs a platform telling you how to live your life. And now you want to live your life based around what this guy's doing. You know, we can talk Tate, Andrew Tate. You know, a lot of kids are influenced by him and stuff. But, yo, why do you want to be that guy? You know what I mean? Be yourself.
Yeah, always be yourself. But take influences from certain people and take certain ways they live their life, I think is good to certain, but not try and replicate or be that guy or have them attitudes or the way, you know, it's like you got to be yourself and find what works for you. But, you know, you should always have respect for your elders. Always have respect for your elders. Always have, you know, respect for some of the youngers. You should, you know, it's about educating everybody. It's always trying to pass a bit of knowledge, you know, someone don't know it and you give them that knowledge and they can give you the, you know, it's about feeding off of each other and
100%.
You know.
But, you know, all parties have to be willing to listen and learn. So
exactly. I mean, everyone can learn anything at any time. Don't think because you're like 80 years of age that you know everything. You know, there's still plenty of shit out there in this world that we don't know about and people can teach you. You know, younger people can teach you.
Listen, I've learned more from 5-year-olds than I have from 80-year-olds. That's what I can tell you. Because sometimes people are kind of stuck in a way where their entire life has not achieved anything and they got nothing they can teach you. So if you're surrounded, if you're in particular neighborhoods and these people have worked all their lives with someone else, what can they teach you to show you about being independent?
No,
nothing.
Nothing.
Whereas if you go back to listening to kids are the best education you can get, bro, because they don't have these filters. Like everything that comes, which is why I always say, like, when you have a child that is rowdy, don't look at them like they're trouble, but look at them as someone you can learn from because they are free. They can be as artistic and creative as they want to be. Don't put a pause on that because you could potentially be stopping the next Jimi Hendrix, the next Maradona, the next Bruce Lee.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly. So, there's a lot of gifted children out there that have, you know, that have got disabilities, but they got special. I call it special powers, mate. They you know, they're superpowers. You know, we both have autistic children, and you know, I know that. I mean, one of my sons, he has Asperger's. It's the same. I mean, he's very, very intelligent guy, but socially awkward. You know, around certain situations and doesn't want to be around too many people, and you know, suffers from things like that. It's a confidence thing, but intelligence-wise, my son is up there, mate. He's super intelligent, you know, but socially awkward. And the thing with the kids nowadays, I feel, is that they are too heavily influenced by peer pressure and wanting to be individuals, wanting to be different, you know, rather than just going with the flow. I think how we did, you know, we just wanted to be. We wanted to have a good job. We wanted to, you know, I mean, I didn't want a good job. I never wanted to really work for anyone. I always wanted to be, you know.
Yeah, that became a bit obvious later, didn't it?
I just wanted to do my own thing, you know, and violence was part of that. It was part of it, but it was controlled violence.
Yeah.
it started off with no control. There was no controlled violence.
But you have to make it clear as well. It wasn't directed. Yeah, and it wasn't directed at just anybody.
No, it wasn't directed. It was at the world. Yeah. I was angry at the world.
Yeah.
You know, that was me. I was angry at the world as a kid. You know, when I was shoplifting, that was for me. I needed that shit. And if you got in my way, if you was police or store detective, it's a good chance you was going to get a right hand.
Can I tell you a story about shoplifting?
Go on, mate.
we're in a boarding school.
I believe that our generation, we had to. Now, what you're seeing today is not people that have to. They're just taking advantage of the system. But back in the day, when me and you were growing up, like, you didn't have the father or the mum that got you clothes. I didn't have the mum or the dad that bought me clothes. I had to wait for Christmas or my birthday. If I was lucky on my birthday, I might get a new might get an Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what I mean? If I was lucky. Money was tight back then. But nowadays, they all want the Montclair, they want the fucking...
Yeah, it's madness.
The LV, the loot, you know...
So, my first experience of shoplifting, it's a funny experience. So, obviously, I was in a boarding school. I was about 8 years old. And me and a few kids decided, right, let's go. We're going to go swim in Ladywell. And then after Ladywell, we're going to go over to Lewisham Centre and whatever. Precinct. And we decided to test each other and say, let's see who can steal the most. So we went over to Safeway. And, you know, I was kind of like, this is kind of easy. You know what I mean? So we're going around and stealing stuff and whatever, and just walked out with a whole bunch of stuff. I did something that none of the others did. This is another point where I just realized I'm not like you. I wasn't comfortable stealing because I felt it was wrong. So what I did was I sat outside the Safeway and waited for security to come and get me.
What?
This is what I'm saying. But I learned another lesson on that day, which was an important lesson. So anyway, somebody came up to me and said, "Where's your mom?" And I'm like, "I'm not here with my mom." So what are you here for? "Oh, I've just been stealing in the shop and I'm waiting for him to come and catch me." I remember that story really, really clearly. Anyway, security came and got me, took me into, like, you know, behind the counters, there was like a little office. They took me into the office. They called the police on me and everything. And then I was banned from going out for the rest of the term. And that was in the second week of the term, if I remember correctly. So, you know, and I was a bit annoyed because I'm like, all my other friends got something small and they were literally picking up a hand, like a sweets and then walking out. Yeah. I walked out with a big bar of chocolate and apples and pears, and I walked out with a whole bag of everything. And I really went in. And what annoyed me, and I remember this clearly, what annoyed me was the feeling of, I gave myself up. And instead of feeling like they should have rewarded me for it,
your friends.
They punished me. No, not my friends. But instead of these guys going, well done for, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they punished me for it. And that's when I thought, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to steal all the time. Yeah. And then next minute, I'm in the 7-Eleven in Blackheath Village. I'm in the fruit store. I'm just taking what I want and walking out. You know, because I had no pocket money. Yeah. Where else was I getting all this food? You know, where else was I getting?
Were you getting pocket money in your school?
No, because at that particular moment, the war had started in Iran with the Gulf War and everything. Yeah. So the parents couldn't get any money out. So I wasn't getting any money. Wow. And this leads to another moment.
But see, I mean, look, in my boarding school, we weren't getting money. A lot of the kids.
All the kids were getting pocket money.
Yeah, we were getting pocket money from our school. Yeah. You know, it weren't from the parents.
Oh, no, we were getting, it was the parents.
The parents had to.
Right, the parents were sending, from my understanding, the parents sent money to the school, and then that had to be split into for the whole term. And so if they sent.
So it was that for clothing and.
It's pocket money. Just to go out. Money. Yeah, just go out to get yourself an ice cream in Greenwich Park.
Who was paying for your clothing? Was that
nobody?
No one.
All the clothing that I had was hand-me-downs from other kids from the school. I remember, like, and I hate saying this, man, but even like socks and underwear.
This is what made us fucking. This is what made us what we are. I used to have to wear. I had an older sister, but the good thing about my older sister, she was a tomboy, so she would wear kind of street stuff, and you know, so I could get away with like fucking nicking a jumper or a pair of trainers, you know, maybe even a pair of jeans. But it's what it is. You know, most of my clothing had to come from vouchers from London Borough of Lewisham. You know, like I said, my mum, 5 kids, my mum could not, she's a nurse, she could not afford to get, and it, like maybe, like I said, birthdays, Christmas is when I might get a new piece of clothing, when I might get a new jumper or a pair of jeans. You know, there were certain jeans. I remember the red and the white piping jeans where you had the little white line down the side.
Yeah.
Them I wanted for fucking months and months, and I think I had to wait for a Christmas to get them. You know.
At least you had a Christmas.
Yeah, I know, mate. You know, it's like that. I know I had hard times, but there's always someone that had it a lot worse than me. And there was other kids in my school that, you know, and I was one of them sometimes, is during the holidays when we didn't get to go home. We didn't get to go home and be with our families because I was such a handful for my mum. She didn't want me home for 6 weeks in the summer holidays. She might want me home for maybe a couple of weeks in the summer holidays. So I'd stay in my boarding school. When all the other kids had gone home, I'd stay in my boarding school and we'd have activities. We'd go butlins, we'd go rock climbing.
So there was other kids in the boarding school that
Yeah.
See, it was very different for us when me and my brothers and my cousins weren't able to go anywhere. We were the only ones in the school. And then it was only a couple of years later we started noticing that as we're staying, more of the kids are staying.
Right.
You know, so we started realizing that this is kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah.
You know, but
It's not just me.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't just me. But at one point, it was
Yeah,
just me.
yeah, I get you. And that must have felt really lonely.
Listen,
That
sometimes
must
you
have
feel
felt-
like your only friends are the ghosts in the school.
Yeah,
You know, like, and there was ghosts in the school.
yeah.
I'm not even joking.
So yeah, I mean, it's like that. It was lonely childhood, and
But I appreciated it because it, you know,
well, it was
gave
better
me-
than where you would have been. You know, you would have been in Iran. You would have been.
I would have been in the war. By
Yeah.
the time I was 6 years old, they would have put a gun in my hand and said, "Go to war."
Yeah,
You know, so yeah, it's like I think at the time I didn't realize. You know, I spent my entire life feeling like my parents didn't want me, and then
I know exactly how you feel, mate.
and then you start getting so you've basically been rejected from an early age. That's how you feel.
Yeah,
And then what happens is you get close to the friends in the school, and you've got a bunch of kids that basically you see as your brothers. We didn't have any girls there, so there were no sisters, but it was all brothers. And these are the people that you kind of get closer to. And then when everyone goes their separate ways, you feel rejected again.
yeah,
You know, and the rejection keeps coming back to you.
yeah,
And this is why, you know, like, I just wanted to make sure that I broke that cycle and that my children never felt like that. That my children know that I've been in their lives every single day.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
My oldest one is 33 years old now. You know, and it was important. Someone has to break that cycle.
Definitely.
But it takes, I feel like, you know, I could have easily just been stupid and gone, screw this. You know, I'm off. But that wasn't going to be me, you know, because of the experiences I had to make a difference. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
And that difference, you know, it inspired me to become somebody. Like, I was watching a lot of people that I felt, you know, you're gifted in some way, but you just don't know how to put yourself out there. So while everyone else was trying to be, for example, the best rapper, I was like, nah, I want to be successful. Yeah, I can be a good enough rapper. And, you know, my focus wasn't to be the best, but to be the best when I got on stage, you know? And if you were, and you know, you were there, you saw the events that were going on back in the days. Like when me and Merlin, with SAS, with Merlin, you know, obviously my partnership with Merlin was like a thing of legends, you know? Like what we did, we smashed every show, bro. There was like, no one was coming near us, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I went to school with Justin.
Yeah.
And he was a year below me in school. And, you know, the reason for me that he became prominent for me was because his uncle was
Smiley Culture.
Smiley Culture, who was a legendary sound system MC for Saxon Sound. So, you know, when I found out that Justin's uncle was Smiley Culture, that kind of give him a little bit. I held him a little bit more up in his level. My level of esteem rose for the guy. You know, and then when he did Who's in the House with the Beatmasters, and you know, and I just left him in school maybe a year before, and then he had that big massive.
Yeah, because that's when me and him were partners, and you know that opportunity came for him, and you know what I mean. I remember when Merlin took me to Smiley's studio, which was in New Cross. I lived in New Cross. He hooked up with me, and the studio was in the basement of a car showroom, which was owned by the gangster Charlie Richardson.
Yeah.
So Charlie Richardson was renting the space to Smiley. Do you know what I mean? And he had the studio in the basement. I remember it being a small space, no bigger than this room, maybe even smaller. And yeah, it was interesting. I sat there with Smiley and just chatting, and it was funny hearing him, you know, going, "Yo, nephew," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Merlin's there going, "Yo, unc."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, they were good times, man. But you know, like the thing is, all of those, like the way I met Merlin was funny as well, because I used to go to Black Youth Blue Coats Youth Center. I wasn't in the school there. I was in Christ College.
Yeah.
And but because when the school used to finish at 4:00, like all the kids used to go to the bus stop. All the day kids used to go to the bus stop, and I used to make my way to the village, right, just to get out of the school for a bit. And what I used to do was wait at the bus stop, and you know the Heath. There's a bus stop, the 89 bus stop was, and then there's a bus stop by the pond.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm there waiting at this bus stop at this end where Shooters Hill Road is, and then as soon as the bus arrives, I start running. I don't want to jump on the bus. I want to beat the bus to the next stop. So that was my training, because I wanted to be a sports person.
Right.
So that was my training. I'm like, yeah.
Who So what did you like? Athletics?
Well, I was, okay, so tennis was,
I
according
loved
to
it.
according
I
to
was a
everybody,
huge tennis fan back in the day.
right,
as well.
according to everybody, tennis was the game I should have been professional at.
yeah.
Like, I was really, really good.
I
Like,
love tennis myself, mate.
But
That seems to be a game that you play in boarding school.
yeah.
It's not really a game that you play. Like, I don't know a lot of English parents, you know, not trying to make a point, but what I mean is that we're taking their children to tennis, you know. But that was, for me, I only heard of tennis through my boarding school. Before my boarding school, I never watched it, didn't give a rat's ass about tennis, yeah. But my boarding school definitely gave me loads of sports to, you know, we had swimming pool and we had athletics, big fields, we do athletics and, you know, everything. So definitely grateful for some of them experiences that I know I wouldn't have had living with my family.
It was, you know what?
We never got them experiences.
We don't realize it until we leave that those are the best days of our lives, bro.
They were definitely the best
You know,
days.
I feel they were the best days of my life. I met so many good people there. I also met, like, you know, I could tell you some criminal stories, bro. Like, oh, man.
Go for it.
No, not from me.
Well, so, I mean, the sports was, so you was heavily...
I was heavily
into sports.
Right, so I was heavily into sports to the point where I stopped eating butter. And when I ate
you thought
an
butter
apple...
was bad for you or something?
That's what I was told.
You thought butter was...
Yeah.
The cholesterol, you're going to die of a heart attack if you eat
That's
butter.
what I was told. But then I was also told if you eat the entire apple, which is with the core, including the pear, and you know, stuff like that. If you eat them with the core, then it strengthens you internally.
But I heard other things. I heard if you ate the apple core, that the pips would grow inside you, and you'd have a tree growing out of you. So I never ate the apple. But you know what? There were times when I did. I did it. I'd like out of curiosity, you know, when I see someone else do it, I thought.
No, to this day, I eat an apple with the core. To this day, it's become habit. It's fine for me. I ain't got a problem with it.
But the pips,
you know, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, they're little things. You swallow them and let them do what they're doing. I've never heard anything bad about it, so I just carried on. But But yeah, what I'm saying is I took the thing seriously, and you know, to me,
stopped eating butter
stopped eating butter
because you wanted to be a professional tennis player.
Not just tennis. I wanted to be like
Athletics.
I had options. I could have been, because I was fast at sprinting.
Right.
I was also good at long distance.
Right.
So I got a marathon story as well.
Wow.
But I was good at long distance.
Yeah.
I was good at football.
Yeah.
I was just
What team do you support?
Okay, so this is a funny one. When I was young, I didn't support any team, but I supported George Best. Right? And because of George Best, I like Man United. Yeah. But it wasn't because I was a Man United fan. I just like George Best.
Yeah, George Best.
Yeah.
Georgie Best.
And then all of a sudden...
Right, wears frilly knickers and he wears a bra.
Right, and then Maradona. So when Maradona came along, nobody else mattered. I was also a big Pele fan.
My idol. I was a Pele fan, but
Maradona took it from me.
Diego was just the next level. Well, I remember, I think it was the '84 World Cup. That was the first World Cup that I actually watched as a kid. I was about 8.
Oh, it was...
And that was the first World Cup that I watched entirely. I watched it all.
Was it 84 or 82?
84, Argentina won it in Argentina.
Yeah,
84 Argentina. It was Holland and Argentina in the final. And Mario Kempes was the man for Argentina. Ozzy Ardiles, Ricardo Villa. You know, Argentina blew up their football. And the Dutch were masters anyway. I mean, the Dutch were, you know, but that was the first World Cup that I watched live from start to finish. I think that was during the summer holidays, one of my summer holidays when I did come home and watch the World Cup. I mean, there's one this year, isn't there, World Cup? I'm not really looking that forward to it. It might be coming home. England may have a chance of winning it. You know, we say this all the time, but I think England could have a good shot, pretty good shot this World Cup. I ain't even joking.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, because I'm so busy doing what I'm doing, I haven't even watched football properly for 3 years, 4 years. Like, so, you know, I consider myself an Arsenal fan, but from a distance, because like I haven't been able to. Not that I don't want to, but I haven't got the luxury of the time that some other people have. Some people can separate their time and go out and watch a game. Yeah. Whereas I'm like, nah, I gotta edit. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm building things in the background that people don't know about that I feel could potentially change things. Yeah. You know, so I'm on a bigger mission, and because of that, you know, everything that I do, like I try and do it like, what would Jimi Hendrix do here? What would Pele do here? What would Maradona do here? What would Bruce Lee do? What would Steve McQueen do? What would all these people that I consider as people that change things do?
Steve McQueen was a big part of you.
Yeah, I was a big... Listen, that I tell you, that when I realized Steve McQueen was something special was when it was in the Magnificent Seven. Yeah. When Yul Brynner was in the front doing whatever. And Steve McQueen was just one of the actors in the background. He wasn't the main guy. No. And
Yul
Brynner was the main guy. And then Steve McQueen's in the background. And he's there flicking his coin. I wasn't watching Yul Brynner. I was watching Steve McQueen. I was like, yo, that guy's standing out for me.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
He's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Flicking
and then when
the
it came,
coin.
And then when it came to the second part of the film, as in not the second half, but they did a part 2 or whatever, the next one, Magnificent Seven Returns or something. Yeah. Suddenly Steve McQueen's the main actor. You know, he's up there with Yul Brynner. Yeah. He's not a backing actor no more. He's just, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was looking at things like this and thinking, right, how do I become them? I've got
a couple of films that definitely, with Steve McQueen, definitely affected me. Great Escape was one. And
the one with the car chase.
Oh, The Bullet was Bullet was a great film. I could say that, but no, it was actually a film called...
It was, you know why I say the car
Pebbles
chase?
on the Sand.
Oh, amazing!
Do you know that film?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's based on real events with China and America and that. But that film,
I think the reason why I'm saying about Bullet is because I think there was a 22-minute car chase with no music. Yeah, and that stood out to me. Yeah, like there was like crazy.
Through San Francisco
and no music.
Yeah,
they didn't need the music to make it exciting.
What was he in? He was in a Ford Dodge or something like that.
Yeah, crazy.
That was a heavy. What a scene!
Crazy,
wicked, mate.
Yeah, so you know, but see, I get inspired
him and Charlie Bronson.
Like Yeah.
Two of my Charlie Bronson.
I mean, I always thought Charles Bronson wasn't that good an actor, but there was
He
something
wasn't a
about
great
him
actor,
was good.
but he was a great actor. But
Yeah.
but if you wanted a film that was banging,
Yeah,
Charlie's
Bronson.
in it, mate.
Yeah.
Like when Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Charlie made that film. For me.
Yeah.
Charlie
was. Yeah, he was dope.
But
yeah, look. So I looked up to these guys in a way where most people would look at them and go, "Oh, I love them."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Nah, what am I learning from them?"
Yeah.
So I always say,
how would he do it?
Yeah, but I would, for example, I would say if I could do on the microphone what Maradona does with a football, I'm onto something. And so my focus was now I've got to be Maradona on the mic.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I
It's
get
like
that,
my thought process is very different to a lot of other people. So what I used to do was, where everyone else is watching Maradona do a move and getting excited, I'm watching Maradona and going, how the hell did he do that? Now I got to do that on the mic. So now when I'm writing a rhyme structure, I may suddenly flip it at some point, and that's the moment when I feel like I've just dribbled in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just done some madness.
Yeah, so those are the kind of things that I used to do, But yeah, at the same time, I felt like I had to be my own hero. I couldn't put these people on a pedestal where like everything I do is based around what they did. I had to also make myself get to that point, and in my deluded mind, I believe I got there. I believe
not deluded at all, mate. You achieved great things, bruv.
When we had nothing,
you were pioneer, mate.
And we had no infrastructure. We had nobody
You were
helping
pioneer,
us.
and there weren't no social medias back then. You was doing it all yourself, selling it out of which I know a lot of American rappers have gone down that way. And rather than go with be bought out by a label and controlled,
we were doing it early.
You're independent.
We were doing it early.
You was always independent, and that's something that I admired about you, is you was doing your own thing, and you really did. I see your struggle, and I see you're trying, mate, and God loves a trier, and I love a trier. I love to see someone that's just having a go, giving it a proper shot, because you got to admire them people, mate. You got to admire them people that are fucking doing their own thing, and they're believing in themselves, which is something that I didn't have a lot of myself as a young teenager. I didn't have a lot of belief when you're coming from where we came from, and not having any that support in your life, having, the role models that I had my sister's my older sister's boyfriends. They were slightly role models to me, but there weren't any positive role models that my role models were like you're saying with sport, and I love sport myself. Daley Thompson was a huge, what a role model he was to me. When I used to see Daley Thompson at decathlon, and this man was he was a black man, black British man.
He used to train at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Right. So,
super proud of that guy.
I heard he was training at Crystal Palace. So I kept going to Crystal Palace to train.
Yeah.
Right. So you could just
open to bump into him.
I bumped into him.
You did, yeah.
I bumped into him, and he saw me doing a long jump.
Yeah.
And he goes, "For a short guy, you're really good," because I was short.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're really good." I was doing like 6 meters 25 at the time or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't in the 8 meters madness.
No.
But I was about 12, 13, and I did it. And then he was like, "You're fast as well," because the run up and everything. He's watching. I didn't realize. But Daley Thompson was on the track on his bicycle, and he was cycling around the track, And then he just asked me to chase him and try and see if I can catch him. Yeah. So I had this race with him.
Wow. Also,
I don't know if Daley Thompson's watching this, which I don't know if we will, but if you're watching this, if you remember that kid that was chasing you when you were riding your bike in Crystal Palace, that was me.
That's a story. That's a great story.
Never told before.
Olympic champion. Twice. 2-time Olympic champion.
Amazing. And he was a good guy, very humble.
Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy, He seemed like on all his interviews, he always came across really well. He was someone that I would love to have, if I'd have met him, I would maybe wanted to aspire to be someone like that. I never thought I'd ever be fighting in my life. I was doing enough of it in school. I never thought I'd actually be doing it for a living, or to be doing stunt work, for a living, trying to make a career out of that. It's just, these were just things that I had passions for, and
Can I just say, if I've got it wrong and it wasn't Daley Thompson, I apologize. I'm just thinking,
who else could
it
it
was
be?
Daley Thompson.
Who else could it be?
You never know.
Might have been John Regis.
No,
I got chased down the road by John Regis. Fucking out of Adidas connection, mate. Fucking hell. I don't know what I was thinking. Nicking the tracksuit out of there and getting chased down the road.
No, I'm sure it was Daley Thompson, because I've never forgotten that. I always thought it was Daley Thompson. But you know the reason why I even question it now is because so many people are going, no way, that wasn't him. And it ends up kind of getting into your mind a little bit. No, maybe it wasn't him.
Listen, it was Daley Thompson. What do you mean? Who were you? Like in your boarding, like you said. I mean, in my boarding school, we were heavily Church of England, and we used to go to church every Wednesday without fail. The whole school, 2 schools, Hill House and Southlands, we would meet at church on a Wednesday. We'd assembly every day, and we'd sing hymns every morning.
Singing.
Yeah, and I mean, come Christmas time, fucking hell, we had loads of carol services and shit, mate. We was, but yeah, my school was Church of England. We did a lot of, we were Christian. We used to like have activities after school, like dinner. We'd have breakfast, dinner, and tea. And I remember some of the kids in my school. There was this one kid. He would never eat vegetables, right? But the school would not. The teachers at the dinner table, you would not leave that table till you've finished everything on your plate.
Same in our school.
So I remember there was this one boy, Stephen McDonald, and we called him Cabbage. And this was in when we were fucking 10, 11. Cabbage, Stephen McDonald. We would go to activities after tea. He'd be sitting at the table because he wouldn't eat his cabbage, and he'd be crying. And we'd go and play football, go down on the field, come back an hour later, hour and a half later, he's still sitting there with crying his eyes out, won't eat the cabbage. I mean, me and my sister, I had an older sister, where me and my older sister had been in loads of foster homes, and it was the same kind of thing. I didn't like vegetables. My sister always said to me, Mark, pick something that you do like, mix it with something you don't like, and get it out of the way first, and then save the best till last. So that's always what I used to do. I'd eat the rubbish vegetables with something that I liked, a bit of meat or some bit of potato, and I'd get rid of the rubbish food, the food I hated, and then the rest of it, I'd save the best till last. So I thank you for that information and that advice. I've always lived by it.
So you did exactly what I did. Basically, so I would start my day doing the things I didn't like, so that it was easier to finish the day doing the things you did like. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Is that what you were doing?
Well, when it comes to food, definitely. When it comes to, activities and stuff like that, no, I'd just do whatever, it's just like, I had certain friends that we would play, we'd be Monkey Magic, or we'd be the Professionals, or we'd be Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, so we build assault courses, and we was doing it. But no one ever come. If someone would have come to me back then and said, "Mark, keep that up, you could have a job one day as a stunt man." I would never have even. What's a stunt man? What's this? I love watching Starsky and Hutch, and I love the Professional, and I love the Sweeney, and I love TV and films.
And now you're doing it.
Now I'm doing it. I'm blessed. I'm very, very grateful for all the opportunities I get. I'd like more, but is what it is. I've got my own story, just like you have got a story. And talking of story, book is a process. Is something that I'm working on at the moment. Is a book, and I think you would have a great book. So maybe that's something that you should think about doing as well.
It's time. It's time. If someone else could write it for me, I'd just be like, yeah, just do it, man. Yeah. Like, it's time. I got too much going on. So,
I get you.
And I've never had not too much going on.
But don't you think, I personally believe that your book would be very inspirational, for a lot of kids, especially kids going through the care system that we both did.
I mean, let's make it clear. I never went through the care system. what I went through was a boarding school, and I didn't have family, and you know, but what I did have was resilience. What I did have was a self-belief. It's kind of crazy. I say self-belief, but at the same time, I always felt like people were always trying to knock my confidence, you know?
Yeah.
And eventually I learned how to deal with that. So every time someone said, you're rubbish, right? I set a rule for myself. Don't try and prove them wrong. Do it for yourself. Like, just be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And then, so now when people tell me I'm rubbish at something, I just tell them that, you know what it is? It's like, you're just not into what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me I'm rubbish at something.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
if I'm, like, when I walk out of the studio and I finish the recording, because you have to remember, like, how we recorded back in the days to how people record now is very different. We went into the studio, we sat there with producers, we sat there with engineers, we sat there with keyboard players or whatever, and we did it all in the same room. It wasn't a recording that was sent to us, and we didn't just do it and go, yeah, it's finished.
Yeah.
We were like, we're not leaving the studio till we got signed. Yeah. And sometimes we would go back and remix it and remix it and remix it, and then we'd go, right, now it's ready. So I was always trying to make sure that any recording that I ever did, there was always something on there, right? And like if it, so you would make sure that you got something for the club, something for the radio, and then something for the people who like a bit of humor, something, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you try and give variety, whereas I feel like a lot of people now, they just go with what the industry is kind of telling them to do because they're all like seeking validation or attention or whatever. We didn't care for validation.
No.
When we got in the studio, we didn't record for you. We recorded for us. That's what we did. We recorded for us. Do
You
you know
just
what I mean?
wanted to get your ideas out on the,
Yeah.
on the tape.
I mean, I saw it like this. I saw it like this, and I hope this makes sense. But see, I'm not the kind of person to, I like to believe I'm not the kind of person to sit in a room with 6 people, then give my opinion about something, and then listen to somebody else and then change my opinion. Yeah? I believe I'm that person that will have an opinion on something and stick to my opinion. Yeah? I don't care what you say, you can convince me all you want.
Yeah.
But I have my opinion and my view on how things should be. And my view is very different to your view and whatever. But I believe, like, the people, like, you know, I think there's a lot of fickle people in the world. Yeah? And I don't want to be one of those fickle people. If I believe in something, then I go with that something I believe in.
Yeah.
Same as...
Staunch.
Yeah, and same as, you know, when I was telling people from 1986, I'm going to stand on the streets and sell my records. I was saying it from 1986, bro. I'm going to sell my records on the streets. And everybody kind of laughed and whatever. And I stuck to what I believed in, and I just kept going.
Yeah.
You know, and next minute, it's like it's become a story of...
You were one of the
legends
first to
and-
do it because a lot of the artists in America used to do that. You know, they'd sell their product out of the boot of the car. They'd press up the stuff themselves and do it themselves. You know,
A lot of that started in the 90s, though. It wasn't, you know, there wasn't that many people doing it in the early days.
no,
You know what I mean?
there weren't.
It
That's what I'm
started-
saying.
So.
You was one of the only ones that I think.
Well, I was already selling cassettes, demo cassettes in '86 in Woolwich and all that.
Yeah.
I didn't sell many, maybe 6 or 7, but
Yeah.
I was still
but
doing
you
it.
was trying.
And you know, and then
You believed in yourself and you were trying, mate.
yeah,
And that is the main thing. That is one of the main, you know, things to have in this world. Is like you got, like I said, when you're coming from certain background, the self belief is not, it's not there for a lot of people.
yeah. And it's
You know,
not something you
the
can buy.
confidence.
It's
No,
not something you
not.
can buy. You know, I mean now with social media, you can buy
You can
whatever, you know,
Yeah,
like
you
fake
can buy- you
views,
can-
whatever
yeah,
else, and all that.
you can buy a lot of the views, the tracks,
comment-
the
even the
music,
comments,
the
even the
beats,
comments, everything.
the
Comments,
the
likes.
lyrics. People are, you know, they're getting people writing stuff for the, you know, even I'm talking established, well-known, worldwide artists that they don't write their own, they don't write their shit.
Yeah.
They might, you might think they do, but their stuff's being written for them, you know.
Can I tell the story of how I met Merlin and
Yeah, of
Starlight the Soul Squad as well?
Yeah, mate.
Right. So I mean, I don't remember exactly how I met Starlight, but I believe it was through Chris Robinson. So Chris Robinson used to live in Blackheath, And I used to see him all the time and whatever. And one day, I'm pretty sure he just came up to me and said, "You're really good at what you do, whatever. Yo, come and meet the crew." And so I believe that's how it was, but I could be wrong. So if anyone from Starlight's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong.
What, Joe Vigil?
Joe Vigil, Val, Tony, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Joe's down in
Seb,
New Zealand now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. You know, so all of them, Chris Robinson, and I think Ricky sometimes was part of it as well, Plastic Money. And then they were all DJs, and I was the only MC there. So we used to go and do our rehearsals with them and like practice a couple times a week.
So were they different genres, DJs, some of them?
No,
or was
no,
it all hip-hop?
Like, it was like literally I would go there and they would be putting on breaks like Apache, things like, you know, Gary Newman films and cars and all that. And they used to cut them up on the... And we didn't rap to instrumentals. We rapped to the DJ's cutting. So it was nice that sometimes it was slightly off and it would throw me off, but I would jump back in because, you know, that's what we did. Yeah. We didn't necessarily have any lyrics written. We were just rapping.
Vibing.
Yeah, just vibing. And it was, you know what I mean? It was really good. So the reason why I want to mention Starlight Assault Squad, SAS, who, I mean, they basically became known as SAS later, but it was Starlight Assault Squad, is I feel like, you know, like when you go through a training period and everything, like to be a fighter, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
I get
they
you.
were my training.
Yeah, your gladiator training days.
They were the guys that if I did anything sloppy, they'd go, right, you could come better than that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
they'd be honest.
Yeah, and they showed me how to get to a level. So, you know, I appreciated that. But the thing was, the only thing, and I love them guys. I will forever love them guys, man. They're all good guys, and you know they encouraged me.
It was a great sound system back in the day,
and they encouraged me so much.
You used to love their parties.
Yeah, and
you know, they did some great parties back in the day, mate.
And when Seb,
remember, did you ever get down Winchat when they used to do some? We used to have some kind of not festivals, but we'd have some. Like some battles and stuff like that.
I was at some of those. I don't remember where it was, but I was at some of those. So yeah, the important thing with Starlight Assault Squad was that we used to do our rehearsals a couple times a week, and I used to come down from New Cross. They were all in the Woolwich, Blackheath area and everything, so we linked up, and you know, it got to a point where I felt like I was ready to go on vinyl. I'd already done one record, which I didn't particularly want to do, but it was for my manager, but I felt like I was now ready to present Blade to the world. Now, what happened is I just felt like, and I say this with the utmost respect for SAS, for Starlight Assault Squad, because I love them guys, they're family, and they always will be family, you know? But I felt like they were just in practice mode all the time. And it was always like, we got to practice, we got to get better, we got to get better. But I felt I was ready.
Yeah.
So at some point I had to kind of go, right, I'm gone. Yeah. And it's not gone in a bad way. There was no fallout.
Just you felt that you were being slightly held back because...
I felt like I was ready.
Yeah.
And I felt like...
And they weren't ready.
Not that they weren't ready. The thing is, I felt they were ready as well. But they maybe didn't have the same faith in the overall thing. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but I just felt like if I stayed there, I would never make a record. And I felt it was time, you know? So that's when I took to the streets. And while I was working with Master Mix and 2000 AD, you know, like we were putting demos together and everything, and we were structuring everything. I was already recording with Master Mix. So I was... In the evenings, I would go down to the West End, the Trocadero and stuff, and I'd pickpocket and raise money. I would go to the arcades in Leicester Square and pickpocket and raise money. Because when people are playing games, they're distracted with the game, so it's easy to dip your hands in their pocket and take whatever. And I did it in light. I didn't do it in the darkness. Yeah. You know, it was wherever there was light, because no one expects it in the light. You know, so you're like, yeah, cool. So then the thing that was a big moment for me, and again, this is with the utmost respect to Starlight, to SAS, when Lyrical Maniac came out, they didn't know about it. And I kept it quiet because I didn't call them and go, yo, I've got a record coming out and whatever. I was like, yo, let me finish it. Yeah. So we done it. And I knew I had something amazing on my hands. I knew it. When we walked out of that studio, I just knew this is going to make some kind of a difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's not your typical record. So I had the records in my hand. I jumped on the bus and I took copies for all of them. And I remember like saying to them, I'm coming down, bro. I just want to see you guys and whatever, because I hadn't seen them for a while. And I went in and gave them the record. I think the first look I got was black and white cover. Well, you can't afford a color cover. That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. Yeah, the vibe I got wasn't that. So anyway, so I've given them the copy of the record. Not just one. I've given them all a copy of the record, maybe two each. And they put the needle on the record. And Lyrical Maniac comes on. And you see the reaction. All of them turn around and look at me like, "Raw, is that you?" And then they put the needle on the Coming Is Near, the next track. They're like, "Is that you?" And then we're going independent. And all of them. Bro, it was a moment. Like, you know, that was, because I respected those guys so much, and I still do. So the validation I got from them was everything to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just say, man, SAS, thank you very much for the training that you put me through, because if it wasn't for that training, then I don't think I would have become the artist that I became. You know, you showed me the way. I had the right start. I had the right start.
Yeah.
You know, and Master Mix, amazing. AD, amazing. All of them encouraged me. You know, everybody. If I move on quickly to Merlin.
Yeah.
So I used to go to Blackheath Bluecoats for the youth club. I didn't go there to study, but I was there at the youth club.
Yeah.
And I used to beatbox all the time. Like, I never stopped. It was always like constantly just beatboxing. And then I remember somebody came along, and I think it was Michael Nugent. And he goes, "What, you think you're good? You wait till I bring Merlin over." I'm like, "Bring him over, I'll battle him." Not realizing that Merlin was a rapper and I'm a beatboxer, but I rap as well, right? So one day, I'm in the toilet taking a piss and I'm beatboxing, and there's this guy standing next to me, and he's like taking a piss or whatever, and he's looking at me. I don't know if he'll remember this. And then he goes, "Yo, do you want to do something?" So obviously we finished pissing, right? He goes, "Do you want to do something?" So I started beatboxing in the toilet, and he's rapping, right? And we're like, "Yo, let's join up, partnership."
Yeah.
And Michael had told Merlin to come there to battle me.
And then you end up
end up with me and
partners.
Merlin being partners. It's like, "Yo, was that the guy I was supposed to battle?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Nah, he's cool. We ain't battling. We become partners." So that's how I met Merlin, and then we became partners, and the rest was kind of like, I guess, story of legends. Because
what was Trevor doing around that time?
right, so Trevor.
Was Trevor trying to rap as well? Or?
I don't think Trevor was trying to rap. I think Trevor ended up becoming Merlin's DJ.
Oh, right.
You know, so he was doing the DJ. I don't think he was involved in production and everything. And obviously Trevor is Val's brother. Yeah, so Trevor got involved in the DJ side of things, but he was never involved musically with me, with what I was doing, because I didn't even know that Trevor was a DJ till I started seeing him with Merlin. And I'm like, "Oh, he's a DJ. I never knew." You know? So that was that. But, you know, me and Merlin, like, you know, we were doing a lot of the competitions there. And we have to big up, like, you know, Martin and Godfrey for the dancing. Then there was obviously, I think was it Martin Robinson? So he was a dancer as well.
Martin Robinson
was
I
crazy.
mean, he was mad.
Yeah.
He was part of the what were they called again? They went to America and won. They went to America and won the Swatch World Breakdancing Championship.
Yeah.
But they weren't Starlight Rockers. They weren't Starlight Rockers.
No.
What were they called?
I don't remember. But
Michael
I know.
Forsyth
Yeah.
he was the main man, and then Martin.
Yeah.
It was Martin and Michael. Them two were the poppers.
Yeah.
And then you had Flex.
I mean, listen, there was a lot of talent.
Simon Hart. You had, I mean, their breakdancing with Dolby D. They were different, mate.
I mean, look, there was a lot of talent back then. There was crazy amounts of talent.
Yeah.
And you know, and the thing is, it's like Woolwich was a place where everything happened.
Yeah.
You know, you got the music talent, as in artists rapping, beatboxing, doing whatever. Then you got the criminality that went on. Some of the biggest legends of all time.
Criminals, yeah.
You know, and I was so close to all of that, but you know, I could have easily fallen into the same path that you were in.
Yeah.
But I had music. I had what I thought was a gift that could help me escape that. So I was looking to escape that. You know, like I said,
I was looking to escape, but I just did it in the wrong way.
See,
I was just down the wrong avenue, the wrong alleyway.
But I also think it's also to do with that dancing had less possibilities than rapping and beatboxing and all that did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're a dancer, it's like you dance for a few minutes and then it's like forgotten until the next show. You know, whereas with rapping, it's like you put it on record and then it could be there forever. So I felt like there was reasons for that.
I had opportunity. There was opportunity. XL Records, they tried scouting me. I think it was about 91, 92. Tried scouting me and another guy. We was dancing at this club uptown, and I met them and they took us round the offices up the West End. But I never did nothing with it. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I had, that I could have maybe put something together. And I believe I really could have put something together. The amount of people that I knew that were involved in the music industry at the time, I was just a dancer. I most probably could have tried my hand at MCing myself, but it didn't happen. So is what it is. But the opportunity did kind of present itself to me, which I just didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that I'm grateful for, because I could have easily gone down the path of criminality. Like I said, I was surrounded by a lot of criminals. I was surrounded by people.
Well, you was living in New Cross.
But even before that, like a lot of the criminals that I actually knew were like in the sort of Blackheath and like the Woolwich and the Plumstead side of things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there was a lot. Remember there was that shooting in Plumstead with the security corps van and 2 guys got killed.
Yeah.
The day after that, the day before that, I was in McDonald's with a potato gun, pretending to hold up the guys at McDonald's for some food. And some of the guys were there with me. And
that could have easily turned into something.
This is what I'm saying. So I didn't know that.
The idea was kind of maybe there.
No, I was joking.
Yeah,
we actually
someone else could have took that idea and run with it and but you know what, we could do that.
Yeah,
we could do that for real. How about we do that?
But you see what happened is, like, I'm there with the potato gun and going, we want this many Big Macs, and because there's about 5, 6 of us, and they're all sitting down, and I'm there trying to hold them up, and they're giving me the food, and I'm like, look, I'm only joking. Here's the money, right? But the thing is, then the next day was the shooting, and then that's when I kind of woke up and thought, fucking hell, that could have been me.
Yeah.
Over a potato gun?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah, the situation is different, but I get you.
Those little things were wake-up calls. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, the next day, you're seeing on the news fucking couple guys shot dead, 3 guys shot, 2 of them shot dead, the other one, You
remember that?
Yeah, of course.
It was
of course
on,
I do. Mickey Flynn, there was Louis, what's his name? Fucking Michael Flynn.
I don't remember.
Nicky Payne, and what was the other guy's name? He's the only one that made it. Ollie Whitelock.
Okay.
So you got Ollie. Ollie's still about. He got shot, but he didn't die. And then you got Nicky Payne and Mickey Flynn. Mickey Flynn, they were the ones that were shot dead. And then I think it was a year or two later, there was a TV series called The Flying Squad, and the old Bill were following the Flying Squad around, and they did another shooting in Woolwich where a guy called Tony Ash was shot dead. And Mickey Finn, who was on my last show, he took the photos of the bodies and all the carnage at Kingsman Parade, and earned a lot of money out of them photos. Enough money to buy his record decks, his first SL10s.
But see, I'm saying it's so easy. It's so easy to, like, it was that thin a line where I could have crossed over to the other side, and something just kept telling me, you got talent, stick with it.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, and I'm grateful to all the people that sat on the backs of buses with us when we used to leave school, and people used to wait for us to be on the bus, and they'd know what time we're jumping on the bus, and they used to wait, and then we'd go to the back of the bus and have a party with me beatboxing, and sometimes Merlin would be there rapping.
And a couple of man blazing some zoots.
Whatever, bro.
Drinking a beer.
Yeah.
Because I remember we done a few bus journeys. myself, we did a few like There and Back, all them ones are like fucking 180 or 177. We take the fucking, you know, and go all the way there and all the way back, just blazing zoos.
But I'm just grateful for that, man. I'm grateful for all of those because it showed me what was possible, you know. And can I just say, we could talk forever for this, man, because there's so many stories, man. So I don't think 1 hour is enough.
No, it's not. It's not. We're gonna come back and do a part 2.
Okay, hopefully. I'm ready.
Or I've got to come to you as well.
You do.
But for now, till part 2. Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, I appreciate you having me, man. And it's been a long time in the talks, man. But I'm glad you got it done.
Anytime. Yeah. That would be a banger. Yeah. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for your contribution to music, mate. And it's appreciated, especially the hip hop culture in the UK. You know, pioneer, bro.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro. Thanks.
No problem, brother.